Hello guys, today I'm going to be showing you this new Jeep that I built. I'm going to be making a tutorial part 1 for the frame and tutorial part 2 for the chassis. So I'll show you how the suspension functions on this little course I made. It has steering too. It's full dependent suspension and it's driver's seat powered. It's pretty simple, about as simple as you can get with this. But yeah, I think in my opinion, it absorbs the shock really well from these little bumps here. Especially for these small wheels. Because that's a big obstacle for those wheels. It'd be pretty hard to get over that. But this is pretty well tuned. Alright, so I'll start on the frame here. I'm gonna move this. Alright, so what you want to do is set your increment to 0.1 on both, and then we'll start. So I'm just gonna check the size of this hood here. So the size of this hood is 4.2 by 0.2 by 2.9. And then we'll get a wedge, place it here. Make sure it's on there correctly. And the size of this wedge is 0.2 by 4.2 by 1. And we're just going to mirror that on this side. So now that we have that, we're going to want to take a cylinder, which is 1 by 1 by 4.1. We'll place it on this wedge. Switch your movement to local. We're going to move this to here. Make sure that the hitbox of this cylinder is at the end of this wedge. We're going to mirror that on this side too. So that goes there. And then to get a oh wait, I might have screwed something up. Oh yeah, I did. Move these in by 0.5. That gives us a smooth edge. And to make this weld, we have another wedge inside of here, which is in here. Okay, I see. So, we'll add a wedge. Here, let's copy these, move them by 0.5. Move this down. Same for this. Move it down. So you should have the wedges like this. And then we're going to take these, and these will go here. So this will be what makes it have kind of the rounded off corner, as you can see. And the size of that is 4.1 by 0.5 by 1. We will mirror that on this side. Now we want to resize these wedges down by 0.6, and that gives us our hood. So now we get to do the grill. So first we're going to take a part that is 0.2 by 2, or 0.2 by 0.2 by 2.9. We're going to place that in the center of this flat piece here, so it should look like that. And then we're going to take a cylinder, which is 0.2 by 1 by 1. We're going to place this right here. And then we will resize this to go up there. And that will give us the smooth look. we'll place one here as well. And then we're going to take the same block and make it 0.2 thin. And we're going to place that inside of there. And place that inside of here. And now that gives us this shape. So we're going to take this, and we want to place this here. We will resize it so that when you have it like this, it's like that. Okay. This block size is 0.2 by 0.5 by 0.3. And we will Shift C to make that cylinder come back, and we'll do the same to the other side. And now we have that. So after we've built that, we're going to take a piece that is 1 by 0.2 by 0.2. We're going to place that underneath this. That just gives it a bit of length. And then we're going to take a wedge, which is 0.2 by 1 by 0.6. And we want the wedge to be upside down. So this will go on this side. And then we'll just do the same for the other side. And place this here. And that's how that will go. So now we will place this little bottom piece, which is 0.2 by 0.2 by 2.7. And that will go there. And it seems like this is not long enough. I'll just make it longer. It should be fine. So the actual size of this will be 2.8. I'm going to save this. And we're going to click battle mode and see if it welds. And if you did this right, yours should weld too. Usually I push it around to make sure there's no parts falling off. Alright, so this is correct. If not, you might need to go back and take a look at what you might have done wrong. So there's a part here, which is 1.8 by 0.2 by 0.4. And that will go here. And I think it's attached to here. Okay, so what we're going to do is just resize this down to here so it's not intersecting. So that is 0.8 by 0.2 by 0.4 now. And we're going to place this same on the other side. And now we have a little spot where we can add a grill. But what happened there? It seems like this should be moved out. Ah, yes, it should. Alright, move it out by 0.1. Make sure everything looks good. This 2.1. Alright, so now that we have this, we'll start building the grill. So these are little ramps, and they're a weird increment because I had to use a different increment for this. So let's see how much spaced. I think this is 0.2. Switch your increment to 0.025. You might need to change your camera or your mouse sensitivity down. And as you can see, that's about from here to the end of this. Yeah, that's 0.15 studs. So we'll take this. And this is 1.8 by 0.2 by 0.15. So you might need to resize that in 0.025. If you're wondering, I have a mouse setting, which makes it so I can move my mouse a lot slower. And as you can see down here, this shows how many studs you've moved it, so we want to move that 0.15. And that gives us one of the slats for the grill. Just repeat this. Keep moving it. 0.15. So from here, oops. 0.15. And then we can just copy a big stack of these, move them down. That was a bit too far. Okay, there. And 0.15. And then we have one more, which is it seems I have messed up here. So there should be 6 slats. 6 slots here. And then we will extend this by 0.015. To make it even. Here, don't resize this big piece because that's a cylinder, but you can delete that for now. And we'll just resize this like this. And then go into the delete tool and press Shift C. That will bring back your part. Alright, so in these little part where the slat meets the front, there is a ramp. If you don't know where this is, go to the insert tool, go to meshes, scroll to the bottom. It's ramp right here, as you can see. It pulls up that. So then we will place this in here. That isn't lining up. I don't know why. We'll try it again. So I'll place this in here. What's going on with that little gap?
Toasties are for everyone!
Why can I hear audio? Alright, so we'll place this here. I'm not sure why. I'm not sure why that's happening. So I'll move this. It still has a gap. Have I screwed this up? Yes, I have. I have messed this up pretty bad. Wait. This should be 0.015. Okay, guys, I'm sorry about that. That was kind of stupid of me. So now we're going to move these. Into here. That's not right either. Okay, I think what I did is I used the wrong increment, which I'm very sorry about that. Go ahead and resize these back. And then we will use 0.025 for this, which should fix it. Now, I might not edit this out because I'm a human being. I make mistakes. I'm not going to try to hide that. Alright, that looks correct. So we're going to resize this by 0.025 now, which is the correct increment. So we have that. Where did that wedge go? There it is. I'm going to convert this to smooth plastic because it looks like I didn't do that. That was an oopsie. Okay, we will move this right to here. Make sure it lines up. So it does. And that will give us part of the curve, and then we shall add one here too. So that gives us the little curve on the CJ5 that we want. So what I'm going to do is keep on. I'm going to build one on top of here. Now, you can do this, but it's kind of tedious. You can just copy a whole bunch of these and put them in there by hand, but I'm going to duplicate them because I don't have as much patience to do this. So switch to global, because if you move stuff grouped in local, it will go everywhere, unless it's on the same axis and the same face of the part. Like the front of the part has to be on the same axis. But anyways, Shift X this and the delete tool, load it, Shift Z, and there it is. And now we have two of them. So we're just going to repeat this, but this time we'll grab all of these. And sometimes if your little moving tabs are in the way, you can just select another part and it'll move it away so you can get the part that it's blocking. At least that's what I do. Alright, so we need 3 more of those, so I'll just select 3 rows of them. Yeah, see, this is in my way, so I'm going to select this part, and it goes up there. Pretty simple. Okay, so now that we have 3 of these, we're going to delete that, load this, Shift Z, move it to here. And that gives us the grill. So, now what we're going to do is select a light. You can use anything you want to do for the light, but for this, I'm going to go into point 1. And as you can see, this is 0.05. If you don't know how to do that, I'll show you. You can't get it into there if you don't turn the collisions on. And then you can resize it. Just drag it all the way, and it turns into 0.05 there. And that's pretty thin. These are hard to weld this stuff sometimes, unless you have the face of it right on the part. So gonna put our light here, and we're gonna go into 0.05, and we will move this light and mirror this side. So it's the same thing, because welds on the Jeep CJ5, these slightly overlap the grill. And now that we have that, I'm gonna take a part that is 0.1 by 0.4 by 0.4. Sometimes you can get stuff into 0.1, like this, but sometimes you can't. So you make it 1.1 right here, and then you go into collisions and you carefully move it, and that will turn it into 0.1 as well. So now we want to place this here, and I think about right there is perfect. So on this vehicle, I have this in the middle here. I'm gonna move this 0.3, or no, 0.15, I meant, my bad. There's that. So we have the hood and the grill now. So let's start on the fenders. So how I did a fenders is I just grabbed a wedge, which is 0.2 by 4 by 1. I think that's the same as this. No, this one's 4.2. Okay. And then I placed it here. Actually, we're going to do this. We're going to place it on top of here and then move it with these things so it'll be on the correct axis. Because it's not precision if you don't do it like this. And it might fall off. So there's that. Oh yeah, we might need to move this back 0.1. That's fine. Or resize it, I meant. And then we'll do this other side. And then we have that. So this has a little extender piece on it, which is 1 by 2, or 0.2 by 2. Oh my god. 1 by 0.2 by 0.2. Okay. And then we'll place this here. Same with the other side. This will go here. So I'm going to see if this welds. Most likely this will fall off because we need to anchor this onto there. But we're looking for welds near this area where we did the grill. So I'm going to battle mode this. Oh, it did stick. Okay, all of it stick. Okay, so now that it's all on there, we're going to take a wedge, which is 1 by 0.4 by 0.2, and we're going to put it on the end of this like that, and we're just going to mirror it to the other side, and we have that. And then we'll take a wedge, which is upside down, same size. We just turn it upside down, rotate it 180 degrees. So we're just facing this way. And I'll paint this red so you can see what's going on here. And this brown. So these are the wedges on this side. Just in case you needed a little help there. Then this will go here on the other side. And then we added a wedge, which is 1 by 0.1 by 0.2. And we'll place that on the very end of that. That gives it a tiny bit of shape. So I'll just give it a little look around just in case you need to see if you're doing anything right or wrong. Alright, so there's that. And then what we want is a tetra, as you can see right here, tetra. And that is going to be resized to 0.4 by 0.2 by 0.3. And I'm going to place it up here so it's on the correct axis. And then I'll drag it with my move tool. And that will start to form the fender. We'll make this one 0.1. Yeah, there we go. And then what we want now is an inner tetra. So I'll show you. These together can make a wedge like this. And you can resize them. And they can be like that. But anyways, we have one in here, which is 0.3 by 0.2 by 0.4. So we're going to move this part, and we're going to place it here. And then we will grab this, which I think this is, yes, 0.4 by 0.2 by 0.1. Excuse me there. And this is going to be placed right there. So, it's going to be kind of hard to mirror this to the other side. Oops, that's not in the right position. There we go. So, it's going to be hard to mirror this up to the other side, because these don't rotate very well. Like, that's not on the same axis as the other one. So, we're going to have to resize them a little bit. There's that one. Gonna place the 0.1 here. And then we need the inner tetra. Oops. I'll just go under here to grab it. And as you can see, this is going to need to be resized. And there we go. This will place here. And then, oops, I placed on the grill. The grill is off. We'll be using the fender as the axis point. Since the grill is on a different increment, it can mess this up. And then there will be this. So now you should have fenders with the little rounded piece there. Rounded piece, my bad. And then it looks exactly like this. Alright, good. So our fender extends to here. And then we have this piece, which is 0.2 by 0.8 by 0.2. And that will be placed right underneath the fender. Be careful not to place it on this, because that will make it go sideways like that. So place it on here. And then we'll move it back. And then we'll place this here. That's sideways. Okay. Now it's not. And it's kind of hard to see on this side, so I'm going to place some lights, because Roblox lighting doesn't really work out very well. So we're going to place this light here. Oh, we can't edit this. Okay, never mind. So now it's kind of easier to see that. I'm going to remove one of those. Kind of easier to see that because it gives off a little bit of shadow. So now we're going to grab a wedge, which is 0.2 by 0.8 by 1.4. We're going to place this here. Sometimes it's a bit annoying to get these into place. Oh, I had it. Okay, there. So this will be placed right on top of this piece here. just like that. And then there's something's off. Actually, I think that will stick there. Okay. We're gonna grab another wedge, which is 0.2 by 0.5 by 0.2. And we're going to place this underneath here. We'll move it into place. And we will mirror these wedges onto the other side. And this will give us our wheel well shape. Just like this. So now we have this placed here. And that will be the hood. So then we will grab this piece, which is 0.2 by 2 by 1.1. We'll place this on the back. And I see something that's off. Oh yes, it needs to be moved this way. That's it. Yeah. So I just noticed something. This is moved down by too far by like 0.5 or 0.05. So we're going to go into global and move it up. We want this to be flush with this. As you can see on this side, it is not. So we will fix this side too. That was what was off. Okay. Sorry about that. Simple fix though, so it shouldn't be too bad. Oops, we forgot to grab this wedge. This one's flush too. Alright, so that's our Jeep front, pretty much. We'll just grab this piece and move it to here. Then you can see that we have a few pieces in here. So we're going to grab this, which is 1 by 0.2 by 4.9. And then we'll move this into place. So we want it to be in the middle. I'll teach you a way to make stuff like directly in the middle of the part. So we're going to go into classic, classic, hinge. I'm going to play the hinge on the both faces of this. And then you line them up, and that's perfectly centered, because hinges will always be centered on the block you put them on. So now you have that. You can also use that for wheels too. Align a wheel on a hub. You can use it for anything. I mostly use it for wheels, but it's helpful for stuff like this too. And then we will place this cylinder here. Yeah, I'm fine. And then this will go up by 0.1. Then this will be placed here. And as you can see, we have a slight gap here, so we're going to extend this to here on both sides. And that gives us pretty much this. So we have the whole hood section complete. Now we're going to grab this brace here for the windshield. Let's see how far that is. That comes up by 0.2. Okay. So this is 0.6 by 0.2 by 5 or 5.9. My bad. So we're gonna have it right at the edge, and then we're gonna move it up by 0.2 right here, and then place it there. So we're going to be starting the windshield. And then there's a small wedge in here, which is 5.9 by 0.1 by 0.2. And this is what curves the windshield. So we'll be placing that there. It needs to face downwards this way. Because when we place our windshield on it, we want it to face towards the driver, not towards the hood. So 0.4 by 0.2 by 5.9. And sometimes it's a little tough to place stuff on these. So we want to move it away from everything else so it can't connect to everything else. We get a large piece. It's usually the large flat pieces. Click onto there. Oh, we're in global. We need to go to local for that. So now we will connect that to there. We'll go to global so it doesn't go everywhere. Here, I'll show you what I mean. So if we have a hinge on the front of this and the front of this, and we make this like different, we go into local and we select them. You see they move different directions. That's what will happen exactly to this too. So we can kind of separate stuff like that. Sometimes it's annoying to put back together, especially if you're not in a small increment. So then we're gonna grab the windshield frame pieces. This piece is 0.2 by 0.2 by 2 by 0.2 by 0.2. My bad. So this will go here. Same on the other side. And that finishes that. So then we'll get the top piece, 5.5 by 0.2 by 0.2. This will go here. Move it in with local. Oh yes, this needs to be in between these. Simple mistake. Okay. So we're going to be using these ramps again. And that's from insert meshes ramp. There we go. And then 0.3 by 0.3 by 0.2. So we will be placing these in all four corners of this windshield to give it a rounded feel. You don't have to do this, like if you like the boxed feel better. But I kind of like the rounded window frame. It gives it more like detail. So then we'll flip this around. This will go up here. Then we'll move this up. Same with this. This will be placed here. I'm gonna get a drink of water really quick. My throat's kind of getting dry. Alright, so now we need to start on we'll grab this piece. This is 0.5 by 0.2 by 3.8. I believe this is in direct center. Direct center should be easier for this piece because we can just kind of eyeball it on there. Move it this way by 0.05. Alright, direct center. Now these pieces will go in the corners here, like this. I'll extend that by 0.1 actually. And that covers up this that covers up the cylinder. now that we have that, go ahead and save. We're going to test if anything falls off. Alright, nothing fell off. So now, we'll grab this frame piece. This is 0.2 by 0.8 by 3.3. So this will go right here. Same with the other side. And then we're going to grab a 0.2 by 0.2 by 0.2 wedge. That's a lot of 0.2s. And we're going to curve off the corner of this. You can also use the ramps from the window, but I think the wedges look a bit cooler. And then on the bottom here, we have this little piece here, which is 0.2 by 0.2 by 3.1, and that is, okay, that goes here. This will be a piece on here, so we can add wedges, because we're going to have, oh yes, this comes down 0.2. So then we have this little frame rail on this side too. And these should be touching each other. Okay, good. So they'll weld. I'll grab another 0.2 wedge. That will go here. I don't think this is exactly the same as the other, so we'll have to make a few changes as we go along. Because this is not working the way I wanted it to. So we'll move these back up. And then we want a 0.2 gap right there. So we can put a 0.2 by 0.2 by 0.2 wedge. Just like this side. All we gotta do is rotate that. And then we'll place this here. This will move down like so. And then this will go here. And then we have a wedge on the very end of this. This wedge is 0.2 by 0.8 by 1.5. So we'll move that to there. Same for this spot. And that's starting to give us our little door type thing. The little door space. So as you can see, we have this moved in here. How much is this? Okay, so that's 0.2. So this wedge is 0.2 by 0.2 by 0.7. I just did a little stretch there. And then we'll have this here. Same with the other side. And we have that. And for some reason, this is sticking out more than it should. I don't know why. But we'll just add a little piece there to make it not do that. Because that looks silly. It doesn't look smooth. But there we go. Something's also weird with this. These are the little changes I have to make. Oh, and this also doesn't go up all the way. Alright, looks better. So now that we have that, we're going to save it so we don't lose it. And I believe this is the same wedge. Yes, it is. So we just grab this wedge, and then we going to place it here. Like this. And we'll place this here. What was that? Looks like some sort of bullet. Alright, and then we'll grab a piece which is 0.2 by 0.8 by 0.2. This will be going here. And I think I'm gonna close the tutorial off for today. No, just kidding. Then we'll go to this, grab the wedge that, a block that is 0.2 by 0.6 by 4.7. And this will just slide into the little gap right here. And I don't think I'll be showing how to do these little round pieces because that was super annoying to do. It took me like an hour to get that to weld. So we'll just have a piece that goes around there. It also eats up a lot of power count, so we'll just ignore those. And for some reason, oh wait, that's because we have these switches. So this wedge, I believe, is the same as this one. We'll check. Nope, this one is 0.1 longer. So this one is 0.2 by 0.6 by 0.2. We'll grab those. And I believe these go at the end of here. Yes, they do. So we'll just mirror what we did here. We'll grab the little part that the larger wedge goes on. And we'll spin this around. Place it here. And then we'll grab this little wedge. And that goes there. And that gives us our wheel well. And we're about, I think we're more than halfway done. I mean, the hood was probably the hardest part of this. And tomorrow, most likely, I'll be uploading a video of how to build the suspension that's under there. But I will be showing you how to do the wheels, so if you want, you can just skip the suspension and drive it around as a normal car. Well, not a normal car, a normal B&E car. I don't know. 0.2 by 0.8 by 2.5 is our next part size. This will be extending the length of the back just a little bit. It also makes it look nicer. Okay, so this, oh yes, it needs to be moved up by 0.2. Okay, so that must be flush with that. This will go here. So basically, what the next tutorial is going to cover is just this black frame and the suspension. And that, the suspension on here, it is dependent. It's rear wheel drive. Front has steering. And then we'll go back to here, and we'll grab this piece here. And this is 0.2 by 0.2 by 4.1. So we'll be placing this here. And I'll move this down. Move it over. And then we'll grab this wedge here. I think this is 0.6 by 0.2 by 0.2. Yes, it is. I guessed correctly. Okay, so that's the exact same wedge as this. You can just copy this one and flip it around. And then we'll move this over. And then we want a 0.2 by 0.2 by 2.5 wedge. And that will round out the rear just a bit. So it looks a tiny bit nicer. And then 0.2 by 5.5 by 2.5 is our next part size. This is basically the tail. And for some reason this doesn't line up. Oh wait. We need to extend this. There we go. And then for the inside we'll be doing the same thing, but we'll just flip this wedge around. This will round out the inner side, the inner corner. Go ahead and save, and we'll see if it welds. Alright, no parts fell off, it all welds. So we'll reload it. And then we're going to grab a piece from the back and see how tall that is. Okay, so that goes down 0.5. Actually, that goes down just to match this. Which is 0.6 on this vehicle. So we'll just extend this to here, and then to about here. And we want a 0.2 by 0.2 by 5.5 wedge for this side. And this part size is 4.7 by 5.6 by 0.2, if you're wondering, because I didn't show you. I forgot. But anyways, we want a wedge this shape, which is 5.5 by 0.2 by 0.4, and that will be moved to... Oh yes, all these need to be extended. For some reason this vehicle is 0.1 longer. I think I made a mistake in the hood, but it should be fine. So it appears that this is the same wedge. It's on the bottom there. If you want, you can add cylinders on the inside of this bed to give it some detail. Just like this. 0.2. And then we'll intersect it halfway. And then you can do it like this. And you can add these around there. Oops, that was too far. Okay, there we go. You can just add these on the inside of there. That will be good. So this will move down 0.1, or resize. And then we'll grab another one of these wedges. We'll place it here, right under this one. And then we'll check the size of this one. So this one is 0.5 tall, this one's 0.5 tall. Perfect. So now we will just copy these. Be careful, you might move the wrong wedge too. I do that all the time when I'm doing this. And I think actually this will round out this way towards the floor. So it has kind of a U shape. Let's take a look how tall our floor is. Okay, so that's 0.7. This obviously needs to be longer by 0.2. This part size is 0.2 by 4.3 by 5.6. And that will be our floor. So we just want to line this up with this piece. And we'll add a 0.2 wedge in there. We'll just steal this one from up here, because this is the same size. Make sure it's upside down and facing the correct way. And then we'll just move it under the frame. Now, I like to do under the frame details. You probably don't have to. But when my vehicle flips over, a lot of people actually get to see that. So it's like just extra stuff. I like doing extra stuff. So now we're just going to grab any part and we'll extend it up. And if you want, you can place a part under there, but I don't think you need to. So this is pretty much the frame. I've forgotten a few pieces that go. We use these wedges here. We'll start building the space where the wheels will end up going. So that will go to there. And then, same for this side. So, then we'll have a little wall in here that blocks off the wheel. Or the wheel well, I should say. That will go here, and we'll just extend up. And the part size in this is 4.4 by 1.2 by 0.2. This will be the same for the other side. And like I said earlier, I'll be making a part 2 for the suspension, but if you don't want suspension, you can just add the wheels. And I'll be teaching you how to do those in this part. So we'll just add the same wall on the underside of this too. And then how much distance is this gonna be? So that's 1 point. That's there's a 1 stud distance. I think we need 1.3 stud distance. So there's that. That doesn't look right. Hold on. We're going to do the trick from earlier where we grab a hinge. Actually, no. We don't need to do that. We're going to make this size and this size, which is another way of finding center. And then you can do that and make them line up, because both will always resize down into the center. So there we go. There's our second wheel well. We'll add some wedges to that too. think it's the same exact wedge. Is it? Yes, it is. So this will go up here. We'll actually resize this 0.1 smaller. Oops, we're in the both functions still. Turn that to normal if you haven't yet. We'll move this down. And then place that there. And now it looks like that leaves us with one thing to do, which is... Actually, that would be two things. We need... Oh yes, we also need the hood bins. Or the hood bracket. The hood locks, my bad. And yes, we need the radiator, the seat, lights, and the wheels. Small details. Okay. So, I remember from yesterday, these are moved in by like 0.6. So if we move this to the little corner here, and then we move it 0.6 back, it ensures we're in the right spot. Alright, there we go. So now we're going to build seat. So we want a centered wedge. We'll do that trick again. So the size of this is 2.1. So now we're going to make this 2.1 again. Or 2.2. That works too. Place that there. So now it's in the center. I'm gonna move my increment to 1. And I'll move this out. The reason I did that is so I can move it back easily. And it'll still be in the center, because it's a pretty large increment. So we're going to want our driver's seat. And the color of this... Oh yes, I haven't shown you the color of the Jeep yet either. So the color of the Jeep is sand blue. It's up here. The color of this is just brown. The color of the light is industrial white, and it's also reflectance 0.5. Same with the hood bracket, so we'll add later. And then the color of this is dark orange. So those are our colors. We'll place the driver's seat in here, center it. We'll place the block over it, center it on the driver's seat. Oop, that is not local. Okay, there we go. So what we're using here is called a, where is it? Round prism. And we're also using tetra rounds that can create a seat, because it's rounded. You can make a little thing going all the way around it. Oh yes, I didn't show you the size. Okay, so the size is 0.2 by 2 by 0.3. And those will go here. And we do that with all sides. And to access your driver's seat, you'll just delete this, and you can edit the torque and the speed on that. I'll move this up. Rotate this. Place it here. Pretty simple. And then we will be using a tetra round. Or round prism, whatever it's called. I don't know. 0.2 by 0.2 by 0.3. Just the little corner piece for these. And we'll add the corners. We'll only do the front corners for now. And this will go there, and then this will go here. So that gives us part of our seat. And then on the back here, we have this piece, which is 1.8 by 0.6 by 2. Also non-collide all of this stuff. So we want these to be non-collide so we can sit in our seat. And then we'll grab the piece, which is 0.8 by 0.6 by 1.2, and we'll center this on the seat. This will be the headrest. And then we'll just add wedges that go from here to here. So, one wedge here. Same with this side. And then we'll grab these. And we'll place these on the back here. And then move this up by 0.3. And then this will extend into here by 0.3, and so will this. Actually, this needs to be moved up by 0.3 too. And that gives us a corner, which we can place one of these things in here. And then what we did on the other seat is we added a little lip under here that just fits this piece. So this piece will go under here. It's a bit too long, I'll resize that. Oh yes, this needs to be slightly higher to accommodate for this. That means that does too. Alright, so same on the other side. Same deal, same deal. So now, extend that into there, and this into here. Make sure all these line up. Yep. Alright. Steal the corner mesh from that side. We're gonna have to resize this, just like that. This will go into this corner. And then what to do up here is we'll just place these on these wedges. They'll go just like this. We'll just intersect these. You can use 0.05 increment to make these more smooth in the resize tool, if you want. But I think that this looks just fine. Or any increment, you can use like 0.01 too, which is extremely small. But then we'll place this here. And then we'll do the top. here. Move up. There we go. Move this up by 0.1 on this blade and this side. And then intersect these. That gives us our seat. Let's see if it welds. While we're doing this, also check if the Jeep welds. Mine does. So go into global, and we'll go to increment 1. Move this back, and now it's centered. So now we need to add just some small details, and then we'll add the wheels. So on here, this is a little hood bracket. Switch to local. On Jeeps, these are used to keep the hood like clamped down, because this is essentially what keeps it from coming up while you're driving on the road. Which I think is pretty helpful, because I wouldn't really want that to happen to me. So we're gonna move this to the very edge of that. That's 0.5. We're just measuring how far we should move this. So this is on the very edge. I'll move it by 0.5. Oh yes, I didn't show you the part size. I'm so sorry. Okay. So this one has a weird size. This is 0.25 by 0.15 by 0.15. You can improvise and make it a different size if you want. And then this will go into there and touch the bottom. And then we'll have this top brace right here, which is 0.45 by 0.1 by 0.1. Center that. And then we will use the ramps for that. Like I said earlier, this is reflectance 0.5. The color is at the very end, I think. Hold on. The color of this, yes, it is industrial white. So then we will move this to here. This is 0.1 by 0.1 by 0.1. Now sometimes these won't weld, so that's annoying. You don't have to add these. There's some issue in this game where stuff won't weld, and it's really, like, stupid, and it gives on my nerves. But if it's not welding for you, just delete them, I guess. I don't know what to tell you. For me, they do weld, but sometimes when you join a new server or something, they'll just fall off, and it's annoying. Something I don't like to deal with. Especially when you're building, like, small detailed stuff. Are these, like, intersecting? Hold on. I'm gonna make this transparency 0.5 so I can see if these are interesting. No, they're not. Okay. Everything's fine. So, radiator. This is just a fabric piece, which is, let me get the color of that. Sand blue. Same color as the Jeep. Just a different material. Also, you're gonna make this plastic if you want to put the suspension on it. But if you want it to be metal, then you're gonna have to edit your springs. But we won't worry about that until tomorrow. Or whenever I upload. So now we have a little wedge in here. It gives it just a small detail. We'll extend this to this radiator. There we go. Leave it down. Okay, so that's pretty much this whole thing. And then what we're going to do is wheels. So a wheel, you must grab this wheel because you can edit the friction on this. But what's weird about this is you can type in any number, it'll go back to the 0.3. But if you type in 5, it will stay as 5 even though it says it's 0.3. The wheel, like, GUI is broken. I don't know why, but it is. So this will be 0.8 by 3.3 by 3.4. I recommend doing 1 torque for this, or 1 friction, my bad. And then we will make this regular black instead of really black. So we're going to move this up just a bit. Choose a spot for our wheels. You want a spot where it's not sticking out. You also want it to be like slightly under the fender, and you don't want it to weld to anything. So then we'll do this side. And then move this in by 0.5 or 0.05. And then I'm going to extend this wheel so we can see how to center that. Something's still weird about this. It needs to be moved. We need to look at it from the top, so we're going to delete this. Oh yes. It needs to be there. Alright, so now that we have that, we can delete this. I accidentally Shift-Z that. So that's our wheels. Oops. So if you encounter this glitch, you want to grab this piece, you want to move it somewhere, you copy another piece, you delete both of them, and then... Oh. So I'll show you what's wrong here. That wasn't the glitch I thought it was. So I'll load this, and this wheel will be back. Like, it'll be really big again. Or it'll be moved. I don't know why. But anyways, that's an annoying glitch. Alright, looks like it works now. So we're gonna move this right into here. And then this is a disc that is 0.1 by 2 by 2, and it's the same color as the headlights and the hood bracket. So we want to center this. Right there. Do that for all 4 wheels. Center it. You can use hinges to center these if you can't get it centered, like I've shown before. But you can also go into both, and you can resize the wheel and see if it's centered. You see, this isn't centered. That's a good example of how we use that. So I'm guessing these aren't either. Okay, guess we'll have to do all the wheels. This one seems to be fine. Actually, no, it's not. There we go. And then we want to go get a cone. Do not get a spike unless you want your tires or rims to kill people. Because the cone versus spike does not kill people. So this won't as well as spike. So get a cone. Make it 1 by 0.2 by 1. We'll center this on this wheel. Do that for all 4 sides. We'll have to rotate it for these sides. But it should just snap together like that. Right on the axis. So you don't even need to... Yeah, you don't even need to center those. So we'll grab this. This will go right in the center of the cone, which will act as like a wheel hub. Give it some extra decoration. And after we've completed this, we're going to check if it welds. And then I will be off because it should be completed. All you have to do if you want this to not have suspension is you're just going to go ahead and add the check this out. Let's see. So I'm just gonna do one last check to see if we got everything. Alright, thank you for watching. I will be back with part 2 sooner or later. This is a video. Of course it's a video, I don't know why I just said that. But anyways, this is part 1. Part 2 will be soon. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.